This movie was dog water. We'll get more into that later.
Dog water movie. So freaking bad.
It just was way too long. Welcome back to Let's Review Cinema. Today we are reviewing The Shining, one of the most classic horror movies that have ever been mentioned in history. Today we got some pretty raw thoughts about this movie. It was very challenging, to say the least. So we're gonna go from my right to Trevor. We're gonna start off and just kind of pass the mic around to see what our review is. So Trevor, what was your rating?
I'm gonna give The Shining a whopping 3.5 out of 10. This movie was dog water. We'll get more into that later.
I'm slightly below Trevor. I'm a 3.4. Major disappointment for this movie. There was a lot of hype behind this that did not come through.
And I believe I have the lowest rating out of the three of us. I'm gonna give this a whopping 2 out of 10. Dog water movie. So freaking bad. But I think this is our first review where it was all below 5.
I was really shocked at how well in agreement we were that this movie actually just sucks.
Yeah.
So bad.
Well, I guess, since it's such a low rating for all of us, let's start with the positives, so that way we can get further in depth, because there's going to be a very short list of positives.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll go with Trevor again. What was your positives?
There's not, with this film, there wasn't really many positives. We talked about this last night, and as far as the positives go, I would say, like, the iconic scenes that you think of when you think of The Shining, those were handled really well, and also just the filmmaking as a whole. But I'm not gonna lie, other than that, those are like the only positives I could think of. It's not that good of a movie. You can pause and read what Charles has to say.
The only reason people like The Shining is because it's a classic and because of the hotel. If you don't know anything about the hotel.
I was telling you last night.
Okay, alright, fair enough.
Oh, the positives about this movie. The iconic scenes did not disappoint. They were very delayed, to say the least. But just the overall thrill, I guess, or the intensity of the film was there. It just felt like it was super long. Like it could have been 100% shorter than what it was. That's the only positive I'll say about that.
I think, there's not many positives. I don't know, I feel like the most entertaining thing was when the dad just started using the axe to break down doors. That was kind of, I guess, entertaining.
Iconic. Here's Johnny.
And so my dad's name is Snack Shack. He's been on the channel before. His name is Dan, or Daniel technically, but in the movie there's a line where they say, "Hello, Danny," and it just kind of freaks him out. So I guess the "Here's Johnny, hello, Danny" are like the two iconic lines that I know. But other than that, this movie's dog water.
All right, so now that we got the positives, the very few. Let's start with the negatives. I'm actually excited to
We
hear.
have a long list of negatives.
We talked a little bit about the movie last night, but we did not really go as full in depth as we could. So we're about to unload a clip on this movie. We're about to shoot it down like tremendously, even though we may be the first out of the few who actually not like this movie. So Trevor, go ahead and give your 13 reasons why.
13 reasons why.
I wish I could list 13 reasons. I'm about to name 30. No. My main negatives about this movie, we were all talking about this at the same time when watching this. This movie took forever to cook. We thought, after each commercial break, we thought, okay, it's about to start cooking. And then it lasted maybe 2 minutes, and then it just fell off again. I was honestly surprised by how mediocre the acting was for a lot of the characters. The main female she was annoying to watch. Jack Nicholson, I was actually surprised by how much I didn't like his acting in this movie. And
You have a
I
great
feel
report for Jack Nicholson for being the Joker.
okay. Those of y'all who don't know, Jack Nicholson is my favorite of the Jokers. That's probably another hot take. But yeah, I feel like the best actor in this movie was the kid, and even he didn't really do too much besides ran.
You shouldn't
But-
talk about that.
Yeah, freaking, was it Toby or Tony? Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, either way, the acting in this movie wasn't that great, and it just took forever to get going. The pacing was just off the charts in a negative way. This movie felt twice as long as it actually was, and I don't know, I don't think there was a way this movie could have recovered at all. Should we pause it?
We should read Charles what he has to say.
And it's crazy because Stephen King stayed at the hotel the movie is about, and he had a nightmare, and then wrote the entire script in one night.
I could tell he wrote it in one night. This movie was sucky, so
The movie was dog water.
I mean, just like what Trevor said, it just was way too long. Not to mention, okay, we're getting to the spoilers part of it because there's just so much that we have to unpack about this movie. Number one, like, obviously there's the cabin fever, and you're kind of seeing this from Jack Nicholson's point of view during the entire movie with him, you know, going to the bar and then so the bartender's there where there were no drinks, now there are drinks, and he's drinking bourbon. And I think the craziest thing about it is that the ending threw me off so much, because for those of you who have watched the movie, you know Jack Nicholson dies because of, you know, being frozen to death outside. And at the very last shot, you pan to this photo of Jack Nicholson being in front of this crowd, and the date for that was 1921. And like, well, what the heck? This movie was taking place in the 90s. Like, why is this taking back to 1921? And so we literally just sat there trying to Google like what all this was about, because there was little to no context with anything in this movie. So you kind of felt like you were the one going crazy, not Jack Nicholson going crazy. Also, just how little all those scenes, like people who have watched it and keep quoting like the "Come play with us, Danny," or "Here's Johnny," all that kind of stuff. Those are probably the best scenes of the entire movie. Like, there's nothing else that's more any iconic parts of it, other than the fact that, you know, Mr. Halloran gets, you know, an axe to the chest as well, but nobody really talks about that. Also, it's like, you know, there's no context for all that kind of stuff. You just hear a story about, oh, how they got chopped up. That was it. No further investigation, no nothing, all that kind of stuff. And it just took too long. We were sitting there literally about to quit it, like 30 minutes before, and we said, we'll just give it to the next ad break. And we did, and then we're like, oh, we'll keep going, because we gotta see it to the end. But overall, it's just not that great of a plan. I can see why Stephen King didn't like it, so I guess he was right. You know, when you create your own stories and someone tries to adapt it and they don't like it, it should not be good. So, Jonathan?
Yeah, going off of like what they said. First of all, way too long of a movie. I remember last night when we were watching it, we were like, okay, if it doesn't cook within the next commercial break, we're turning it off. And luckily, whenever we said that, it started to cook like the slightest bit, so like we ended up finishing it. But yeah, the movie took like almost an hour or almost 2 hours to freaking cook. It was so hard, like it was like watching paint dry. It was so bad. But acting was ridiculously terrible. And yeah, nothing like, I don't know. I mean, it's an horror movie, so like, just like my dad said, like, you know, he was like, what's an horror movie? So you guys might not like it because of like when it was filmed and whatever. But I mean, I don't know, I guess. And then like also like in the trailer, like with the two little girls like having like such a big impact, we saw them like 3 times. It was so stupid. And so like I was like, okay, I'm really looking forward to these girls like making like a really big impact. We saw them like 3 times in the movie. I'm like, bro, what the heck? And because like before watching, I was like, okay, they're gonna be like one of the main like characters like in this movie. They really weren't. And then I mean, Danny, I mean, I don't know, it's your classic like demonic like you know, Tony's living inside his mouth, whatever, and telling him like what to do and like whatever. But I mean, I guess I don't know. I just feel like acting, especially from the mom, was really dramatic. Took way too long to cook. And honestly, not even that even scary. It was not even that scary of a movie. So, 2 out of 10.
And even with the ending, like,
And the ending was confusing.
basically, some people, you know, talked about how it was reincarnation, or that place is just a curse where, you know, Jack Nicholson's spirit just roams around. Maybe he was the guy who killed his wife and kids, and he's just been stuck there living in a time loop the entire time. And Tony is like, his shining is Tony, and his way. It's like his spider sense, I would guess. Like the whole reason why he could probably see all those things coming ahead was probably because of Tony, and that's probably why Tony said, "I don't want to go to the hotel," because he knew that there was something wrong with the place. But overall, it was just like, it was kind of disappointing, like especially for a movie that has had great rapport over the last, you know, couple decades, for it to be like, oh well, it's kind of disappointing, and definitely was missing the horror element throughout the entire thing. So,
Favorite scenes? Favorite parts?
here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny!
That's it.
Here's Johnny. I mean, I think that like one of the most. I mean, I guess like if this movie's gonna cook it all, like anything positive, was, I don't know. He took the axe and slammed a few doors down. We saw a person get like slammed in the chest, and Danny was just repeating "Red Rum" like 70 million times.
Yeah, we also saw that guy in the bedroom with like the furry.
Oh
costume.
yeah,
That was so
That
weird.
was so weird.
Yeah.
Just
That was like, that felt like a
Just
Star
kinda-
Wars Dolly painting. You're like, what the heck is this?
What the heck is that?
It's like you didn't know what you were looking at. And also the guy with like the blood in his glass, and he had like the scar down his head. Like,
Oh,
that was,
yeah.
there was no context for that either. I was like, what the heck? And who the heck is the bartender? Like,
Yeah.
how did Jack Nicholson know? Wait, unless it's reincarnation. Oh, like I said, but overall, it was just very confusing. Like, didn't really make any sense at all. Which I guess is part of the movie because I don't know, insanity, I guess.
Yeah. I will say though, I think my favorite scene in this movie was probably the Red Rum reveal, because you know, you literally from beginning to end, you had the kids saying "Red Rum," like just like separated throughout each scene, and you had like no clue what that was supposed to mean. But then you see him write it on the door, and then when the mom wakes up, she sees in the reflection that it spells out murder. And I feel like they cooked with that reveal.
Yeah,
I'm not
they
gonna
did.
lie. The way they revealed that, I think they cooked with that, but they didn't cook with anything else.
Yeah, they-
I'm not gonna lie. But,
That's what we got for today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Also, make sure to show up on all the different platforms. If you want to clip us and post it on your account, do it. Just make sure to tag us. We would love to see what movies that y'all want us to watch. If there's anything that we should do, we're thinking about doing like
hot takes.
hot takes.
Yeah, let us know like what y'all want us to like analyze about the movie, because I mean, we can do positives, negatives, and like favorite scenes and just kind of all that stuff. But if there's like specific things that like you guys can comment your movies in, and like tell us something specific that you guys want us to like observe throughout the movie, and we'll talk about that.
Also, we are starting to live stream
Yes.
on a more regular basis together. You can find us on our Instagram, just live streaming almost every day now.
Almost every day.
But
yeah.
we're trying to be more regular with getting content out, especially during spring break since we're all here together.
Yeah.
But we'll be more trying to get a schedule out for y'all so you can tune in during our live streams.
Facts.
sounds good.
That sounds
Sound
good.
good.
Peace out.
Peace out. See y'all on the next one.